Who's Sergey Derevchenko? Derevchenko is a man who's going to get a third world title opportunity. Third world title opportunity in the last, what is it? Maybe 2, 3 years. That's who Sergey Derevchenko is. Since actually when? I probably say since 2018. That's who Sergey Derevchenko is. This guy was a guy who was fighting for world titles in his 13th professional fight. You know what I'm saying? That's how great a standout amateur background this man Sergey Derevchenko had. You know what I'm saying? His record currently is 13 wins, 2 losses, and 10 knockouts. Anybody who would see that record would think, what the hell? Why would this guy be deserving for another world title shot? It's because this guy, Sergey Derevchenko, has paid his dues. You know what I'm saying? Sergey Derevchenko ain't no spring chicken. He's 34 years old. This guy, Sergey Derevchenko, was in the amateurs for a very long time. You know what I mean? Very long time. You know what I'm saying? He was competing in the AIBA World Boxing Championships in 2007. I believe he was in the that what do you call that one they have the World Series of Boxing, which is I think is sponsored by AIBA. He was competing in the World Series of Boxing from 2010 till 2014. That's 4 years. You know what I mean? You check it. Now, a guy like Sergey Derevchenko, I'm sorry, the World Series of Boxing. They say it's an amateur thing, but I consider that the pro ranks. I don't care what nobody says, man. At the time, these guys were fighting with no headgear when other amateurs were fighting with headgear. Now all amateurs fight with no headgear. But not to mention, it's also kind of like a paid rankings. They get paid. It's they get paid to fight in the World Series of Boxing. You know what I mean? So a guy like Vasyl Lomachenko came into the pro ranks when he had 7 fights already in the World Series of Boxing. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about a guy from the same country, as a matter of fact, as Vasyl Lomachenko, and that's Sergey Derevchenko. You know what I mean? Promoted by Lou DiBella and managed by and advised by the man Al Heyman. Okay, and Derevchenko, I'm not too sure if it was his decision or whether he had the option, because I remember reading some articles that he's also being in consideration to fight the man Canoli come September. You know what I mean? Canoli till this day right now, we pushing on October. I'm sorry, we pushing into August, and he still has no opponent um, scheduled to fight on in September. But that's okay because we already know what that means. That means he ain't gonna fight somebody who's not that good. That's just the truth about it. An easy fight. Sergey Derevchenko would have been an excellent fight. I'd have loved to see that fight versus the man Canoli. But Derevchenko is staying on his side of the street, the PBC side, managed by the man Al Heyman. And a man like Lou DiBella, he been crying, talking about his relationship with PBC, ETC, what. And he's been taking his fighters on all other kind of promotional networks, whether it's on the zone and or on Top Rank. Well, it looks like he shouldn't actually be complaining about nothing. He has the liberty and the freedom of taking his fighters wherever the best fights, the best possibility of making the most money is. They're not confounded to, you know, just one boxing network. You know what I mean? So that's a good thing for the man Derevchenko. I've seen Derevchenko fight Danny Jacobs. That was on HBO, if I'm not mistaken. And that was his first world title opportunity when he fought the man Danny Jacobs. I believe he was like 12-0 going into that fight, you know what I mean? Versus the man Danny Jacobs. And when he fought the man Gennady Golovkin, that was on the zone. I believe that was probably Golovkin's second fight on the zone. Now he'll be fighting Jamal Charlo, and that shall be on Showtime pay-per-view. His third world title opportunity. He's fought for the IBF title twice. Both times were actually vacant. When he fought Danny Jacobs, it was for the vacant IBF middleweight strap. And when he fought Gennady Golovkin, it was for the vacant IBF middleweight strap. You know what I mean? So Jamel Charlo will be for the WBC middleweight strap. And I believe Sergey Derevchenko can come out the victor. Absolutely. You know, he's had opportunities and experiences fighting the man Danny Jacobs and Triple G. A fights that I thought Derevchenko lost. I thought he lost both of them. You know, I think a lot of people gave Derevchenko a lot of credit, more credit than probably deserved, because he actually made that fight with Triple G very close and competitive. But if you watch that fight, I think the right man won. You know what I'm saying? Very close fight, absolutely. I had it 7-5 for Triple G, but I thought the right man won that fight. You know what I mean? Now, a man like Jamal Charlo, he's been looking a little suspect over there at 160 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Of course, he sparked out guys like, what's that guy's name? That Mexican guy, Hugo Centeno Jr. You know what I mean? And that's a good win how he demolished him, because Hugo Centeno Jr., I think he has only like one loss, maybe two losses in his career. You know what I'm saying? I think he probably has two losses. You know what I mean? So 27 wins, or maybe he has three losses. He lost to Jamel Charlo. He lost to that Sulecki guy, a guy who fought Danny Jacobs. And I think he lost to Willie Monroe Jr. last year in 2019. Okay. So how Charlo sparked out Centennial Jr. was pretty impressive. Um, then he had the fight with Korobov, and that fight was, he ain't looked too good in that fight, you know what I'm saying? I thought the man Korobov, I thought Charlo won the fight barely. It could have been a draw. It could have gone either way, but I had it for the man Charlo winning that fight, and he ain't looked too good in that fight. You know what I'm saying? Then who the hell has Charlo fought since? He went the distance with the man by the name of Brandon Adams. You know what I'm saying? He stopped this guy by the name of Dennis Hogan. Who did Dennis Hogan fight before? I'd seen him fight somebody before. Yeah, the Jaime Munguia at 154 pounds, and gave a valiant effort. You know what I mean? But Charlo at 160 pounds hasn't fought the caliber of fighters like Sergey Derevchenko. Derevchenko is the more experienced fighter, even if he has fewer fights. Yeah, I mean, the man has like 13 fights in his pro career, while Charlo has 30 fights. You know what I mean, total. And I think this man, the guy from Derevchenko, can win this fight. You know what I mean? Derevchenko got a very tough, rough, and rugged style. You know what I mean? Trained by the man Andre Rozier. He's a guy from born in the former Soviet Union, when the former Soviet Union, when communism ended, and I think Ukraine became a country in 1991 when they separated themselves from Russia. So he's from the Ukraine, you know what I mean? But he resides in Brooklyn, New York. And if you know anything about Brooklyn, New York, especially, not the whole borough, but where he resides, where he's from, they call it Little Odessa out there in Brighton Beach. That's South Brooklyn, you know what I mean? Close to places like Shepherd's, what they call it, Shepherd's Bay, and Coney Island, you know what I mean? Right there on the waters, on the Atlantic, South Brooklyn. And I gotta give the man, what's his name? Lou DiBella, also a Brooklyn native. I gotta give him credit for finding guys like Sergey Derevchenko. Now, is Sergey Derevchenko a household name in the States? No, not yet. Not yet. And when I say not yet, he could be. It's all about promotion, promoting these guys in the right places. I used to watch a guy by the name of Sergey Kovalev. Y'all might know Sergey Kovalev. How many times is he a champion? I believe he's like a three-time champion at 175 pounds. You know what I mean? Unified champion and a three-time world champion at 175 pounds. Sergey Derevchenko, I believe. not Sergey Devchenko, Sergey Kovalev. I believe. What's that woman's name? Main events. What's her name? Kathy Duva. I believe they dropped the ball on this guy's career. I believe they dropped the ball, and I'm not saying that now. I was watching this guy from about 2012, 2013. You know what I mean? When he was fighting the likes of first time I saw Sergey Kovalev was when Kathy Duva had a deal with NBC Sports. Yeah. Y'all remember that? Kathy Duva used to have her fighters fighting on NBC Sports. The channel's called like NBC SN, NBC Sports Network. You know what I mean? On my cable box, or at least when I had cable, it was channel 44 on the Comcast box. You know what I mean? Um, and that's why she tried to sue the man, Al Heyman, because when Al Heyman came on the scene in 2014, 2014, was it 2014 or was it 2015? I believe 2015, when they introduced the PBC. And Al Heyman now had NBC, big NBC. I'm talking about Channel 4. He had CBS, big CBS. I'm talking about Channel 9. He had Spike TV. He had PBC on FS1. He had NBC Sports Network. They had Bounce TV. He had the PBC on a whole lot of networks. And as soon as he got with NBC Sports Network, that's when Kathy Duva's contract ended with NBC Sports Network, and they didn't re-up with her for her deal with NBC Sports Network. Now she was left out in the cold, and she was salty, and that's why she was trying to sue Al Heyman. But eventually, she dropped the case. It didn't even go to litigation because she probably knew she had no legs to stand on her case. You know what I mean? It's business. NBC Sports Network, we're going to go with the PBC because they have a better stable, a wider stable of more fighters that can showcase more fights. But anyways, that's the first time I seen Sergey Kovalev, you know what I mean? And he would fight the likes of Darnell Boone, you know what I'm saying? So I'm watching this guy, Sergey Kovalev, you know what I mean? He becomes a world champion, goes over there to Wales or England and beats the man Nathan Cleverly, gets that WBO strap. This stupid lady, Kathy Duva, and I say stupid not in any disrespectful way, but I guess she was hell bent on trying to keep the man in New Jersey, where Main Events is the promotional stable. That's their headquarters. You know what I mean? In New Jersey, she was trying to have the man fighting in Atlantic City. Atlantic City was dead at the time, still is as far as boxing. It ain't a big hub for boxing no more. You know what I mean? Arturo Gatti ain't around no more. After Arturo Gotti left, God rest his soul, Atlantic City has not been popping for no boxing events like that, like it used to when Arturo Gotti was there, or when Mike Tyson was that man dude coming up when he was fighting in the Trump Towers or the Boardwalk Hall over there in Atlantic City. I kept saying, yo, what they need to do with this guy Kovalev, they got a whole lot of Russians out there in Brooklyn, in Brighton Beach, South Brooklyn. Why the hell they don't promote this guy in Brooklyn? You know what I'm saying? That part of Brooklyn, Brighton Beach is it's a kind of neighborhood that English, and this is in America, in Brooklyn. English is not even the first language, man. It's Russian, dogs. You know what I'm saying? It's a community filled with people from Kazakhstan, Russia, Azerbaijan, Tajikistan, Ukraine, all those former Soviet countries, you know what I mean? You check it. Russian is the first language of this little Odessa, Brighton Beach. That's where Lou DiBella found this guy. You know what I mean? Look who else came up out of these sides. This guy by the name, he was another Lou DiBella guy, Advitil Kurtzad. Kurtzad is now doing 10 years in the federal prison in America because he was caught in a kind of RICO case, fucking with the Brooklyn Russian mob over there in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? But Kurtzad was a guy who was very exciting. He had a Brooklyn fan base. You know what I mean? Just like Sergey Devchenko. He wasn't no household name. He wasn't a world champion yet, but they were going the right direction. Kathy Duva, look, this man Sergey Kovalev, his biggest fights, he had to go to Canada to face the man Pascal twice. He had to travel everywhere outside of Brooklyn, New York, where he should have been a household name over there. You know what I mean? This guy was, especially after he beat B Hop. That fight with B Hop, matter of fact, look, I'm not mad that they had that fight in Atlantic City because Atlantic City is close to Philadelphia. You know what I mean? So the Philadelphia massive, the B Hop, what you call it, fan base could come over there to Atlantic City to see the guy. So that was a good fight right there to have in Atlantic City. But as soon as that man beat the living legend B Hop for them three straps total to unify all together three titles, they should have had this man fighting in Brooklyn, straight up and down. Even if it's in that Aviator Center, you know what I mean? Over there in Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? Where Lou DiBella, he probably still does, would have his fighters that are on the come up fighting in that Aviator Center, you know what I mean? Look at that Coney Island place where the man Errol Spence had beat up what's that guy, that African Italian name, Italian dude, um blood cloud, I'm forgetting the man's name. What's up, Jet Cows? Just seen you in the chat. What's going on, big man? Jet Cows in this chat. He says, "What's up, big bro? What's up, bro? Big up to you." He says, "I got Charlo winning, but it's a great fight. Two top five middleweights, absolutely." He says, "I remember them NBC fights on NBC Sports. Feels like yesterday. Time flies. Absolutely, yeah. Kathy Duva, man, that's what she was doing with NBC Sports. Um, Damn, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, Kovalev should have been promoted over there in Brook. Oh yeah, a Leonard Bundu versus Errol Spence over there in Coney Island. This was right after the Olympics. 6.6 million people viewed that fight over there in Coney Island. These are the places that they should have been promoting the man Sergey Kovalev. And then when he has a big fight, have that joint in Madison Square Garden or the Barclays Center. Ideally, the Barclays Center because it's in Brooklyn. Well, Lou DiBella's been trying to do the right thing for the man Sergey Derevchenko, getting him world title opportunities, which he has gotten. This is his third one in the last 2 years or so. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, Derevchenko, man, he could have the whole Brooklyn on his back, especially the Russian contingent over there in South Brooklyn, Brighton Beach, Coney Island. You know what I mean? Little Odessa. This could be the man's stronghold, and it could happen by him beating Charlo. The Charlo brothers are known on PBC, Showtime. Even casuals know them. They do know them. Maybe they might not know them by name, but they know them as the Charlo twins. Them Charlo twins. Them twin brothers. That's what people know. Because I do talk. Like, I have friends who are casual boxing fans. They don't know as much boxing or watch as much boxing than I do. But if they have any boxing questions, they know who to talk to and who to ask. That's me. But they know the Charlo brothers. They know the Charlo twins. They've seen their fights where they was with them fights from the J Rock Williams fight where Charlo sparked out J Rock Williams with that vicious uppercut, and the fans booed the shit out of him in Los Angeles because he wasn't being cordial or showing good sportsmanship with the man J Rock Williams. So they know him from that fight. They know the Charlos from they know him in the D.C. Maryland area for sure because of the build-up between Jamel Charlo and Javid Hurd. You know what I mean? When marinating fights goes wrong, we still never got that fight. Anyways, they know the Charlos from the Tony Harrison affairs. You know what I mean? Especially Jamel Charlo. So the Charlos are known. I'm not saying everybody walking down the they're not household names, but as far as boxing circles are concerned, they are known. A lot of people don't like the Charlos. They think they run their mouth too much. The Charlos know it themselves, and that's actually how they're getting known. They've being the heel. They've been trying to be the bad guy in boxing, and they're getting to be more popular. You know what I'm saying? But if Sergey Derevchenko can beat this man Jamal Charlo on a pay-per-view, brings that WBC title back to Brooklyn. Brooklyn is in his oyster. You know what I mean? He's gonna have the borough of Brooklyn in the palm of his hands. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Lou DiBella and them and Sergey Devrichenko, Andre Rozier. This is what they should be trying to achieve and attain. You know what I'm saying? Sergey Devrichenko, like I mentioned, is 34 years old, only 13 fights. You know what I mean? In his pro career, that's because he had a extensive, long amateur background. But now's the time, you know what I'm saying? This guy didn't go through the amateurs beating a whole lot of good fighters and losing to very good fighters as well to just come up short and come back to Brooklyn with no world titles. You know what I mean? He fought Danny Jacobs, very close fight. Fought Triple G, very close fight. I know third time might be the charm. It might not be neither. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, this is his opportunity. You know what I mean? This is his opportunity right here to right the wrongs that other fighters who've had um, Russian, Ukrainian type of fighters didn't right the wrongs of what all the other promoters didn't do with their fighters. You know what I mean? This is the time to seize the moment. You know what I'm saying? Vasyl Lomachenko, look, Vasyl Lomachenko does well in New York City in Madison Square Garden. He gets a lot of fans come out to watch him. You know what I'm saying? Does he sell out? No, not necessarily. Has he done a pay-per-view? No, not necessarily. Was going to do one with the man, Teofimo Lopez. But the man, Lomachenko looks like he was having doubts on second thoughts of fighting in Madison Square Garden, the only place in America where Lomachenko does have a consistent fan base that will turn up for his fights. You know what I mean? He don't want to fight there, trying to say, oh, this guy Teofimo Lopez is from Brooklyn, New York. He's gonna have the crowd will be more in his favor. Come on, man. Skills pay the bills. I'm saying the fighters, the fans ain't gonna fight for neither one of y'all. Skills pay the bills. It would even be better if you beat the man Teofimo Lopez in his backyard in Brooklyn, New York. But nope, they want to have the fight in Las Vegas or Los Angeles, simply because of the fact that the man Teofimo Lopez and Teofimo been trolling him. He was outside of Madison Square Garden just the other week, last week, matter of fact, trolling the man Lomachenko. You know what I mean? So Sergey Devrichenko, man, the opportunity's right here for you. Simply because this guy Charlo's been looking suspect at 160 pounds. You know what I mean? Sure enough. You know what I'm saying? Sergey Devrichenko has gave valiant efforts in his world title opportunities. Some think that he should have won both them fights with Danny Jacobs and with the man Triple G. Well, right now is a chance to right your wrongs, to seize the moment, and bring that world title to Brooklyn, to the Ukraine, and just put like I said, have the Russian massive in the palm of your hands. You know what I mean? Kurtzside looked like he was on his way to becoming a very fan favorite guy before the feds snatched him up. Kurtzside is now just sitting in a federal prison, and that's a sad situation. But Devrichenko is on these streets. He's in these streets, and it's about that time that he does what he has to do, because these world title opportunities ain't going to be here forever. He's only getting older. Jamal Charlo is ripe for the taking right now. And if he can do it, hey, believe you me, I think they're gonna I think that the Brooklyn Mass what's his name? Lou DiBella and them, they're gonna take this opportunity. What's the other guy from Brooklyn's name? He wasn't the guy who promotes I think he's Russian or Israeli Jew. He's also from Brooklyn. Dmitry Salida, you know what I'm saying? Guy who fought Amir Khan, you know what I mean? He was a kind of guy, he's a Brooklyn Jew, you know what I'm saying? From the Brighton Beach sides, you know what I mean? But now he's a promoter, you know what I'm saying? He never really was a captivating fighter, but I think Sergey Devrichenko could be. You know what I mean? So, big ups to Jet Cow, big ups to everybody in the chat. Thanks for hitting the thumbs up. And let me know what y'all think. Does this guy, Sergey Devrichenko, have the skills to pay the bills, to beat the man Jamal Charlo? You know what I'm saying? And actually take over that Brighton Beach, Little Odessa, Brooklyn fan base that a lot of Russian fighters have not taken advantage of. Because Sergey Derevchenko be the first. Be Marsh Box, leave your thoughts and comments, and I'm out of here.